Right now, this is Fabio and Grooverider, Ministry of Sound Radio.
Yes, I am going to try and bring the sun out tonight. Oh, I tell you what, this weather, they're having a laugh, aren't they? Whoever controls the weather, whether it's a god of some sort or some kind of crazy weather system, sort it out. Damn. Anyway, that's my rant over. That's the sound of Malako starting off with. Yeah, going to try and bring the sun out tonight. The sun? We are going to try and bring the sun out. It's Fabio, it's Ministry Radio. It's the drum and bass sessions. We have drum and bass from 5 to 11 each and every Tuesday on Ministry. With a galaxy of top DJs coming in and doing their thing. It is a liquid special tonight. We're going in tonight, not messing about tonight. We're going to have a liquid classics mix coming up later. Yeah, going in. Proper in the mix. Some real classics going to be played. Actually, the next time I do this, I'm going to get requests in and stuff like that. If you want particular tracks played. But tonight is all my thing tonight. So liquid classics in the mix coming up a little bit later. Some of the best tracks around. Here's something brand new from Magnified called Dream Mode. It's Fabio, it's Ministry. This is how we do on a Tuesday night.
This is Fabio and Grooverider. Drum and bass on Ministry of Sound Radio.
brand new from an outfit called Magnified. Stateside. Big shout to them guys. They've been making music for a little while. You know what? The thing is about making music. It's either you're a commercial artist and, you know, you get your records played on certain stations and certain big DJs play it. Or you get your smaller artists that, you know, trying a thing, man. No one's showing them any love. I'm like, come on, man. Everything's gone a bit too mainstream radio-wise for my liking. And people know exactly what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I'm saying it. Like, when certain people was on there, it was a bit more underground. It's like, man, I don't know. My boy's doing all right over there, but, you know, sometimes some of the other DJs need a bit more variety in the drum and bass they play. Anyway, not ranting, it's just the way it is. That was Magnified, a track called Dream Lover. This is something brand new by an outfit. Well, two guys, Edward Oberon and Paul T. We're making some great tunes at the moment. This is kind of like a flashback to Fellowship and early TB stuff. Like this, man. This is deep. Send this one out to everyone who attended Liquid V last Friday. They're absolutely smashing in there. Great to see IC3 and Jumping Jack Frost, Brian G, Moose. Big man things in there, man. Trust me. Check this out anyway. This is deep. Sending this out to my boy Huggy. Also to Corinne. Remember the Rollers. It's Fabio on Ministry. To rewind that, man. Serious tune. That's the thing about the rewind. You get caught in the moment. I was listening to that tune and I thought, you know what? I need to draw this tune up, man. I want to hear this tune again. That's the way I roll. Paul T, Edward Oberon. Deep.
Fabio and Grooverider. Exclusive to Ministry of Sound Radio.
drops deep as it does in my breath. I never sleep, the sleep is the cousin of death.
Now why don't you go get yourself a fix, and my partner and I will bust your ass, okay? Perfect. I should have fixed you all.
Entitled Deep Cover. This is how we're rolling tonight. We're going deep tonight. We have got some liquid flavours coming up in the form of Liquid Classics Mix. That's a hard one set this time of night, you know, trust me. No, we got that coming up in around 20 minutes. We've got some killers from back in the day going in the mix for about an hour. So check that out. Gotta say a big shout to my boy Grooverider. His show last week was giving me beer jokes, man. And remember, if you all track listings, because you know I lose thread of what I'm actually doing half the time. So track listings, you can go online, you can find out what tracks I played, and also you can go on Twitter at @Fab/Groove. Follow us. We got some of your have we got some shouts lined up? Yep. Got a piece of paper handed to me here. Big shout going out to Rob, right in the background there. What's up, cars? Yeah, alright. Terrible timing. You're destined to a life behind in the background. You really are, Rob. Anyway, that. That was a Stuart Lee moment. Yeah, big shouts going out to DJ Buttersai, Sarah Ann Harvard, Erica Simpson, Crucial Radio, Anti-Insecticide, Daryl Kenny, the hilarious Daryl Kenny, he makes me laugh. He likes us, but in a really aggressive way. It's hard to explain, but he does. Daryl knows exactly what I'm talking about. He likes us, but aggressively. Very, very strange. But enough love going out to Daryl. Darren Williams, Dave Shimon, Daniel Douglas Clark, Mike Payload, Londi, Paul Davey, James Colford and Oliver Fear are going to be reading out some more of your shout outs in a little while. Thanks to everyone who's taken the time to show us love though. Here's something brand new coming out on Digital Bus. Check this out. It's Fabio's Ministry.
You're listening to Ministry of Sound Radio. This is Fabio and Grooverider.
Bring you the flavours forthcoming on Digital Bus. Big shout going out to J Rome, all the guys down there in Austria, also Paul SG, Conchita comes from Austria as well. You know who Conchita is, Rob? Conchita won the Eurovision Song Contest, dressed as a woman with a beard, which is a new look that I'm not fond of. But anyway, I'm not going to go down the Grooverider route right now. Great show. Do you know what? The Grooverider played a mix of... he did a gig in Nottingham, Spider's birthday bash. That was funny, man. Bassman saying some very interesting things. It was very educational, put it that way. Bassman is always educational. But yeah, that was wicked. Big shout going out to Spider and to Bassman, because Bassman is a guy that I've known for a long time, been working with that guy for a many a year, and he's a very, very special MC. So big shout going out to Bassman. Right, in about 10 minutes time we have got A Quiet Storm, Liquid Classic style. Yeah, that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going back and we are going to pay homage to some of the great tunes that have shaped liquid music. So I'm looking forward to that. That is going to be fun. That's coming up in around 10 to 15 minutes. There's something new from Penny Child.
Right now, this is Fabio and Grooverider, Ministry of Sound Radio.
Sound of Random Movement. That track's ugly, man. That's from a few years old. That's from a few years old. Grammar, please. That is a few years old, and wow, that guy does it every single time. Killer track. Remember, as I said before, track listings. Why is my mic so loud? Wow. Anyway. I must have turned up my mic and I didn't even know, and I'm deafening myself around here. But yeah, track listings, go online, Ministry Player, you'll get all the details you'll need to find out what I played tonight. As I said, going in smooth, man. No innuendo intended. And, right, we're going to play one more, I think, and then we're going to do Liquid Mix. We are going to go in some Liquid classics. I was thinking, the other day I was playing tunes, and I was doing an old school Liquid set at Fabric, and I played some tunes, man. When you look back on your tunes, you think, wow, that was truly a golden era. So we are going to touch on that golden era in 2 tracks' time. This is some present day Liquid, some real funk. This Friday, catch me at the Volks Club in Brighton alongside Artificial Intelligence, etc, etc. That's going to be proper. Also, Jungle Jam in Leeds, MC Det's birthday party, Old School Business in Reading. Ain't ramping this weekend, going in. Right, time to bounce. Proper roller. It's Fabio, it's Ministry. This is how we do Tuesday night drum and bass. The flavours. say a big shout to my brothers across the ponds. Big shout going out to Will Miles, the Flacco, to the irrepressible Dave Owen. All the guys putting in the work. But I also send that big shout to Art Blakey III, also Christian Bruner, the Respect crew down in Los Angeles, all the crews in San Francisco, everyone putting in the work, man. Some great tracks coming out the States as well. As I said before, Jungle Jam this Friday, or this Saturday, down in Leeds. Going to be representing alongside Hype, Bailey, Jumping Jack Frost, Remark, all the mans in the house. Big shout to all my Twitter peeps. Big shout going out to Mampy Smith giving me beer joke on Twitter right now. I do get heckled quite a lot on Twitter actually. Some people think I'm a bit of a smart ass sometimes, so I'll say something and they'll come back with something that they think is really clever and sarcastic, but totally unfunny. Like I put something up the other day and someone went, well, that's not one of your better ones. Well, I'm not here to entertain you, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? Pay me for that privilege. Like I'm there, he's sitting down waiting for me to entertain him. He went, not one of your better ones. What do you think my name is? Stuart Lee? It's not, mate, look, listen, you don't sit down and have an audience with Fabio. It's not like that. I'll tell you the first thing that comes into my brain. If it entertains you, well, that's great. But if it doesn't, as Jack Nicholson said, the people that give are over there. You go and sit with them. Bit harsh, but I'm feeling a bit harsh today. Anyway, one more and then we're going to go into some Liquid classics. Big shout going out to Chris Interface. Also to Tendai. Tendai always gives me jokes, man. He knows about his films, Tendai. So we always have a little film conference. And we're going to do so. He always invites me out to all these film things. And I never go. Ever. And I am going to go to her. I'm going to shock him. The way he thinks, you know what, I'm going to tell him. I know he's not going to go anywhere. He's not even going to ask me back. But Tendai, trust me. I know there's some deep films out right now. Tendai's your boy if you need to know about proper films. He's the man. Liking this. Straight after this, we play the Liquid tracks that have carved away over the last 15 years of Liquid. Yeah. Love that. Digital and Response. Big shout going out to Clive Ingredients. Also to DJ Response, all the guys that do their thing. That great label. Big shout. Also big shout to Kazrat Critical and TC1 at Dispatch as well. Also a big shout to my boy Mike Script alongside Steve Survivals in the Thing and Scar. Got their track out on Metalhead. Big up to you guys. Yes, it's that time where we're going to pay homage. You know, Liquid's been going for about 15 years now. Like, as Liquid, the first Liquid Funk album came out a little while back, and Bailey actually put on Instagram, put up the Liquid Funk album, and I sat down and thought, wow, that was the start of Liquid. That's where the name comes from. And you know what? It's been around a long time. You know, it was called Intelligent Drum and Bass before, which was the stupidest name for a genre ever, and it was given the name Intelligent by people that thought we was being snobs. You know, no one that was playing the music called it Intelligent. It was people that thought we was being snobbish towards jungle, and we was trying to go West End on everyone and trying to do our own thing. And so they said, "Oh right, they're playing Intelligent Drum and Bass." So it wasn't actually, you know, they weren't flattering us at all. It was kind of like a little bit of a diss, and that's where that name came from. And then Liquid Funk 1 came out, and the name just kind of stuck. And then everyone calls all different kind of stuff Liquid. Like sometimes someone sends me a track and they go like, "This is a little Liquid thing." I think, well, it's not actually Liquid at all. Not on any kind of level. Sorry about that. I just keep hitting the mic for some reason. Anyway, we're going to start off with a track that I absolutely love. One of the best Liquid tracks ever made. Marcus Intellect and Temperance. So here we go for the next 50 minutes or so in the mix, Liquid style. It's Fabio on Ministry of Sound Radio.
tell you that. Down, down, down.
Drum and bass on Ministry of Sound Radio with Fabio and Grooverider.
Original.
when we're face to face. And we don't know who we are when we're face to face.
Fabio in the mix, Liquid Classics. Until right near the end of the show. Track you can hear in the background, it's On the Way by DK if you want to hear what I played in the mix. Get in touch with us at Ministry Layer.
legends of D&B. This is Fabio and Grooverider on Ministry of Sound Radio.
This love I have for you, girl, it's true. 'Cause loving you just blows my mind. This love I have for you, girl, is true.
In the background you can hear Marky and XRS and a track entitled Rotation. Before this we had The Mighty Love Stream by Chasing Status. It's Fabio in the mix, Liquid Style to the end of the show. Yeah, I'm going to see you out in the mix. Remember, if you want to catch those tracks, go online, Ministry Player, that's how you do it. Coming towards the end of Drum and Bass Tuesdays. We start at 5, we finish at 11, you can't ask for more than that. Big shout to Nathan, Lloyd, everyone who's at the helm at Ministry, running things.
Fabio and Grooverider, exclusive to Ministry of Sound Radio.
love. Something that everybody can understand.
Right now, this is Fabio and Grooverider, Ministry of Sound Radio. Sound Radio with Fabio and Grooverider.
Right, we have got about another tune after this, and then we're out. Remember to catch Grooverider in the hot seat next week. I don't know, I don't know if it's double show. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to ask my assistant, my trusted assistant, Rob, in a minute what's going on. So I might be here next week. I might not be. Who knows? That's the way we roll. But many thanks to everyone who's been listening. Remember, you can catch us Twitter. What was it? What was it again? The /Fab and Groove, or /Fab and Groove. You can also do that on Facebook. Get us on the Mixcloud and everything. If you want to see all the details from the Mystery Player, it's all up there. So that was the mix for this week. Hour long, went in. As I said before, numerous times you can catch the track listings online. Catch me this weekend at Volks in Brighton. Also Jungle Jam, MC Dot's birthday party in Reading. Until the next time, it's Fabio saying peace out. Probably one more tune, maybe a couple. Grooverider next week. See you later.
Every time I hear the music and I make a
Legends of D&B. This is Fabio and Grooverider on Ministry of Sound Radio. You're listening to Ministry of Sound Radio. This is Fabio and Grooverider.